The second thing is second skill that we're going to try to develop in this course is lifting the veil of rhetorics. It's seeing every speech, it's seeing every statement, every report as something that needs to be deconstructed, something that needs to be analyzed. So here it's the classic reference, obviously. And in his time, Aristotle wrote a very important book, very influential book called The Art of Rhetoric, about rhetorics, about what he calls the ability to see in any given case the possible means of persuasion. He says in the first book of The Art of Rhetoric, the ability to see in any given case the possible means of persuasion. So rhetoric is not about telling the truth. It's about saying things in a certain way that is going to make people believe you, being convinced, being on the same position as you. So it's leveraging everything you can. So he sees rhetoric as an art. And in his sense, art means that it's something you can do without necessarily being taught. It's not a technique, meaning that there's a knowledge and there's a certain practice. It's an art here, meaning that some people are very skilled at rhetoric without even knowing it. They're just good at it. And Aristotle tells us that to be convincing, to be able to convince people, you can play on three different aspects. He says, and I'm quoting here from book 1 again, some rely on the speaker's character, some on putting the listener in a certain frame of mind, and some on the argument itself through demonstration or seeming to demonstrate something. So the three aspects are to be convincing, to have people believe you. The first thing is proving your value, your expertise, your seriousness, that you're someone reliable, that you're someone of the right character, which in Greek, all of that is encompassing the idea of ethos. So that is also going to give us ethics, but it's about your own value. And if people see you as someone who knows, someone they can trust, someone who has the right character, they will tend to believe you and to follow you and to be convinced. The second thing you can play on is on the emotions. What I'm coming back to what he said as putting the listener in a certain frame of mind. So, it's playing on the emotions, the affects, the reactions, the projections, the ideology of the listeners, of the audience, and to leverage that in order to be believable. That's what in Greek is called pathos, playing on the emotion of the audience. The third one relies on the argument itself, the rigor of your demonstration, your logic. So it comes from the Greek logos. So ethos, pathos, logos. If you want people to believe you, either you make them trust you as a person, your character, ethos, you put them in the right frame of mind and you play on that, pathos, emotion, or you provide something that is logical and well-grounded, logos. These are the three main ways of convincing people. So, this is no surprise that Donald Trump got elected. He leveraged perfectly the emotional state of the people that he wanted to convince. Let's take an example for you to analyze a little bit the rhetoric of someone. So the idea here is first focus on whether the speech of the person makes sense. What are the arguments? Is there a logical conclusion that is drawn, and then do they use the conclusion to build another conclusion through a logical progression, or are we being manipulated, and how is it played? We're going to watch a short video of Adam Newman, who was the founder and CEO of WeWork, a very, very successful company for a while. And I want you to pay attention and tell me, is he building some, do you find him convincing, whether you agree or not, but do you think that he's a good public speaker? What do you think about his speech? How is he building his speech? Is he playing on passion? Is he playing on his own value? Is he playing on logic and demonstration? So what is he playing on? So let me just launch that here.
Most important pillars of our life is where we live, who we're with, who our kids and our friends are, where we work, and then how we study, how we learn, how we grow as human beings. And I like to say, if you had to prioritize them, first personal growth, then your partner, your spouse, then your kids, then your friends, then business. And when you get to business, first purpose, then people, then product, and the profits will follow. So when I think of I think of an ecosystem that brings it all together. And the fabric of that ecosystem happens at the building, at the neighborhood, and at the city. I think the next 100 years, everyone sitting here, you're the leaders of the future. City-states is where it's at. I think governments from all over the world, without pointing any fingers, are having a very difficult time. I think as mayors, as leaders, as CEOs, it is our responsibility to set the trend of the future, and the trend is we versus me. And when by 2030, 60% of the world population is going to move into major cities, that's another 1 billion people moving into major cities. Most cities are underbuilt 30 to 50%. This is in the next 12 years. You have no room. You have to reinvent how people live. You have to rezone. You have to reassess. And you have to reinvent how people work. And one last thing to touch with, we have numbers behind it. Every WeWork that you open, 100,000 square feet, 2,000 employees, will immediately create 700 jobs in your city just to build it, and then 1,000 jobs a year. Inside that WeWork for the next 20 years, so 20,000 jobs for 20 years, just one location. If you bring us in for 10 locations, we will create 200,000 jobs over the next 10 years. And it can go bigger and bigger. And we won't just bring you jobs, we'll bring a place to live, we'll bring education, and this is important, we'll bring corporate America. Right. And why is corporate America coming? Corporate America saves $18,000 per employee when they put it in a WeWork.
Wait, who?
So, what do you think about our friend Adam Newman? Do you find him convincing or elegant in his ability to say things? Before you tell me if you agree or not, or if you see, do you find him to be a good public speaker?